If I'm guilty, then arrest me then. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you on about?
You're live as well.
Like,
Lit that night. I got drunk. I was sleeping in the car with my phone. It was lit.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't breathe. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science, the most authentic voice in true crime. Well, social media have been on the case since Jay Slater's body was recovered from a ravine. What have the sleuths uncovered? Well, they've made contact with Kasim, aka Johnny Vegas' sidekick. The dude seen on camera wearing dark glasses was questioned by some of the best TikTok sleuths out there. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please like, share, leave a comment. You can also hit the thanks button, and let's get started. So some of the questions posed to the Airbnb duo certainly had some merit, such as the scenario about the stolen $12,000 Rolex watch from a reveler that Jay was allegedly going to fence for £10,000. Also, it turns out they made videos inside the car during that night drive to Masca. And we're going to be dealing with the implications of that. Now, although the Spanish cops have been completely mum on this aspect, did they find a watch? Was a watch stolen? That only emerged thanks to Mark Williams Thomas's investigation. But what do Johnny Vegas and Rocky have to say about this? Well, not much. They didn't seem to know much about it. If you ask me if it's true that Jay stole a watch or a bag of ecstasy, who would be the best people to buy it off him? If he had it with him and he wanted to fence it, where would he go? Well, wouldn't he go to criminals? Criminals, right? According to the Mail Online, although police on Tenerife ruled the duo out of the investigation early on, Kasim told his Instagram followers, "If I'm guilty, then arrest me then. What are you on about? When you're telling the truth, you don't slip up." Jay traveled to the remote village of Masca with them after spending the night partying at the Papagayo nightclub in Playa de las Americas. He had left his friends and went off with Kasim and Rocky, who drove him back to their Airbnb accommodation on the outskirts of the village, around 20 miles away. Now, I have to say, I'm not sure that I believe this idea that he lost his key or his friends had sort of left him and he didn't know where to go. He could just as easily have gotten back to his hotel, which was much nearer. And maybe he was just looking for a place to stay, but maybe there was an ulterior motive. What do you think? If either of these two are guilty, why would they voluntarily go onto social media? I've also made the case that if someone were to have been involved in this, it would have been a 5-hour round trip, essentially, to get Jay where he was found and then to come all the way back. Plus, the vehicle would have had to been there as well. Now, I think the flip side is, given the reality of social media today, which is basically a colossal version of the Salem witch trials, it's tens of thousands of people sitting next to their keyboards holding flaming pitchforks in one hand, while small devil horns start sort of burrowing out of their skulls. And of course, they are the good guys fighting for truth and justice. But actually it's witch hunting. That's actually what's going on. Even if they are innocent, the sleuths will decide whatever suits them. Won't they? I mean, they've done that on my channel. Anyway, back to the Mail Online. The two of them took to social media to answer questions about the incident. People were able to pose questions to them about details in the case, such as the missing Rolex, Jay being scared, and claims the teenager was carrying 2 knives. Asked about taking Jay back to the Airbnb, Kasim said, "Took him home? No one took him home, bro. He invited himself. Think, bro. Use your head. How am I feeling after this? It's mental, mate. It's actually mad. Do you know what I'm saying? It's actually mental, man." When asked, "Did you punch him?" he replied, "No, of course not. Mate, what do you reckon happened to him? He had a tragic accident. You know what it's like, taking it out that way. The kid didn't have his funeral. Have a bit of respect. Now, it's actually quite ironic. It would be hilarious if this case wasn't so tragic, that you have a convicted criminal lecturing the public on showing some respect and thinking, I guess, properly about it. And you know what? He's right. Then something else he said when he was asked about the stolen watch, he answered, "No one took my watch, bro. Why the fuck would I invite someone who took my watch back to mine so they can sleep on the sofa? What are you on about? Bro, don't you help people? Do you know what I'm saying?" Now, my only comment here is that it's interesting that this question got something of a rise out of Kasim. He went on to say, "Yeah, of course I did. How else would I be around? Like, we were doing our own things. We weren't out together because I don't listen to that music. It's not my thing." Asked about how Jay was feeling when he left the apartment, Kasim responded, "I don't know why he was scared, and he ain't here to answer that question. I don't want to say people could be going through something in their own heads. Who knows? Do you know what I'm saying?" Well, I think I do know what he's saying. I think he's saying that Jay may have been kind of in his own mind, kind of in a different reality in a sense. Now, on the scared aspect, I have no doubt that Jay was starting to get nervous in his final Snapchats to Lucy and Brad. I just don't think he was getting nervous enough, to be quite frank. It does seem as if he was starting to get serious, a bit more serious than he'd been. A lot of what you hear here in the story is joking going on, laughing going on, right up until the moment Jay disappears. Because I don't think he realized that he didn't know where he was. I mean, I know he didn't know where he was, but I don't think he quite realized just how seriously he was not where he thought he was. And I think the cactus cut couldn't have helped his state of mind either. But Kasim has a point that whatever Jay's state of mind, his thinking and decision-making may have been affected that morning. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Compromised, undermined, impaired by substances that he'd taken earlier that were still working their way through his system. What is the key difference between Jay and everyone else in the story? Well, he's awake and he wants to party on. He wants to carry on partying when no one else does. No one else is. No one else does. And then what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to wait. And he thinks, wow, I'm feeling great. I'll just hoof it to my hotel. Why does he feel that he can? Isn't it because he's feeling super energetic and perhaps overconfident? And where are those feelings coming from? Isn't it from substances that are still kind of juicing through his system? And so going back to what this duo said, Kasim said, and it seems like he did most of the talking, yeah, I offered him a lift back, but obviously when I wake up, because you've got to remember we came back at 6:30, 6:40 in the morning, and I only slept for an hour before I had to move my car. Bro, I'm not driving another half an hour and all of this 1 hour away, bro. I was in a Cupra estate, zooming the road like it's not an hour away, it's half an hour. Speaking about his drug dealing, Kasim said it was in the past, adding, and everyone's calling me a dealer. I was 19, I'm 30 now. Now, according to the Mail Online, he also said, everyone asking me why he was scared. Bro, I don't know why he was scared, bro. Stop asking me. You're asking the wrong guy. I've got videos on my phone where me and him are videoing Rocky in the car where Rocky's sleeping on the front. We're just laughing at him. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is definitely interesting. And it would be good to see that video because it would really go to Jay's state of mind. You don't really capture that in a photo. Now you can hear the audio, you can hear the laughter, you can hear what he's thinking and saying. And this also explains how and why Jay didn't seem to appreciate where he was and how far he was from his hotel, because he was amusing himself and entertaining himself inside the vehicle rather than paying attention to what was happening outside of it. Kasim went on to say he was calm. It was a vibe like we were just bossing jokes. All of this scared and all of that is like, what are you on about, scared? Now it sounds like Jay was in good spirits, doesn't it? If anything, too good spirits. According to the article, he was then asked about the watch for a second time, saying, and so this is what Kasim said, I don't know whose watch went missing. You know, furthermore, what watch is it? I must say that word furthermore is quite interesting given the way he talks. Question for you guys, because you're all talking about this watch. What color is it? What type is it? You tell me. Kasim also claimed the detective guy told him that Jay had 2 knives on him, claiming that's even more mental, like the guy had 2 knives on him. Like, we was in danger, let alone, but no one's saying anything about that. I'm not going to complain about that. I've been in danger many times before. I've been shot at before. Why was I in danger? Apparently he had a knife on him. That is from the horse's mouth. So that seems to be casting a bit of shade towards Jay. To me, all we really need to know, we knew right in the beginning, which is that Jay was walking, started off by taking a wrong turn, tried to take a shortcut, and then compounded his situation. Just take that behavior and add the fact that where he is, the type of terrain, and the result is logical. AI would give you that result. The Mail Online puts it this way. It is believed that he may have decided that it was quicker for him to find the coast and walk back along it, rather than trek along the winding road back through the mountains. So his psychology, Jay's psychology, is about taking a shortcut. Well, a shortcut through the Barranca Juan Lopez Valley towards the sea is like walking into a death trap for an amateur hiker. Okay, I'm not going to take it further than that. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on the depression aspect to this Thomas Crooks, the Trump shooter, so look out for that in the next video. Personally, I think it's very important subject matter, not only in true crime, but in that particular sort of side of it, dealing with the Trump shooter. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.